everybody. Welcome back to another Trey Stick. It has been an amazing week, and we all know why. Because Florida State came out with the dub. Yep, we all know it. We all heard it, and we all saw it. We're back, and we're going 9-3. I don't care what any of y'all say. We're making the playoffs and bringing back a national title. But nevertheless, we are 1-3. And that's not something to be happy about. So we need to get our act together and start performing. Now, I will say this. Our offense this week, perfect. Absolutely perfect. I've never seen anything like it. Like, all the games before that, nothing like that our offense to this week. But I wanted to give a shout out to DJU. Finally, this man actually threw a touchdown after all these weeks of just interception after interception. He actually looks like he can throw. It was really good. I was watching all the film and highlights. He was on point. He actually looked like he knew how to get a ball into the receiver's hands. Now, I will give shout out to the one man that single-handedly carried today's backfield and offense. Lawrence Toafili. Now, he is our leading back right now in rushing yards, although he was supposed to be a receiving back from what I saw. That man put on a show. 80 yards for one touchdown. Amazing performance. Keep it up, please. Every week we need that. So, in order for us to keep operating like that, I wanted to give props to that big boy offensive line. Like, I don't know how many McChickens Mike Norvell had gave you, but y'all went out there and performed, blocked, and given everybody the time they needed to get the ball off and get it downfield. So, thank you very much for that. And keep up that good work, or we're going to end up 1-11. And I'd rather not be 1-11 because I want to go back to the ACC championship. So now, let's get into all the important stuff. DJU was 1 for 1 on this week's game. So that isn't the best stat line, but it was great for him. It cancels out each other because it's a negative and a positive. The touchdowns are the positive and the interceptions are negative. So he came out with a positive of 0, which 0 isn't a positive, but it's also not a negative. So DJU, if anything, please keep that up. I'd rather go for 0 than go for -1. So in order for that to keep happening, we need to place the ball into our receivers' hands. And speaking of receivers, Ja'Kai Douglas was the man that was catching the ball that entire game. 86 yards for one touchdown? Best performance I've seen of him his entire career. And all the time I've been doing Trey Stick, I have not mentioned that man's name once. But the amount of underrated he is amazing. He is leading us in receiving yards right now. And he is amazing. So, thank you to Ja'Kai Douglas, Mr. GJU, and Lawrence Toafili for DJU threw an interception, but managed to get the ball to our receivers. Toafili was just doing his thing, and Ja'Kai Douglas really showed why he should have started over Johnny Wilson and Keon Coleman. Just kidding. He shouldn't have. But let's see now. Let's dive into further things. Now, our defense. How are y'all like? It's a really question. How are y'all this bad? And I'm saying y'all because our offense did good. Our offense actually put up points. Now, I know what people might say. They still held Cal to a certain amount of points so the offense could win. But I don't think you saw how much our DBs were getting burnt by them wide receivers. And if I'm correct, those wide receivers were suburbs white. So I don't know what's going on, but y'all are supposed to be winning those matchups, not losing them. We had, if I am correct, 2 cornerbacks drafted in the NFL year. And now we're getting burnt by Cal receivers? No, that's unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. So our pass defense is one entire different subject to talk about because we are horrible when it comes to doing that. I thought that was the best part of our defense. But now our entire defense is horrid. Absolute bombastic. Horrible performance. And now, don't even get me started with the line. 3 weeks I've been doing this podcast for this season. And each week I have said they've been getting run through by a quarterback, getting run through by the running back. And you want to know what they did this game? Get run through by a quarterback and a running back. Because obviously, Patrick Payton isn't a 90 overall. He's a 60. Obviously, he was getting carried by our D-line last year. And he was showing out because we had a good defense. He's a fraud, just like DJU. And just like those other recruits we brought in. And the fact that our run game, our run defensive game is this bad, it's terrifying. Because what if we do make the playoffs and go against Ohio State? They have 2, when I say 2 great running backs, they have 2 really, really good running backs. And Quinshon Judkins will run the ball through our throats all game. Every single part of the game, all the time. He won't stop. They're just going to hand the ball off to him just to prove how much of the frauds you are, defense. And what are we going to do on offense? Probably nothing. Against an Ohio State defense with DJU at quarterback, with Lawrence Toafili at running back, with our offensive line, I don't think you understand what just came out of my mouth. Because the fact that I'm comparing Ohio State to my Seminoles is crazy. Now, I will root for the Seminoles any day. But if we, as a defense, can't get our act together, it's going to be very hard to keep defending now. Now, I heard something about the Memphis game. Now, I'm going a little bit backtrack, but I heard we paid Memphis to have a game with them, and we lost. I told Mike, he better go back to Memphis now. I want a new head coach, if I'm being honest. But thankfully, he finally came out with the win. So, great job. And great job to our offense and special teams, not our defense. Now, our MVP for this game, Lawrence Toafili. And I already explained why, but he is our future in running backs. And our offensive player of the week is going to go to my boy Ja'Kai Douglas. He showed out this week. Showed out. Probably one of the best games I've ever seen from him. So please keep performing like that. And no, there's not a defensive player of the week because all of the defense is trash. Like, we all suck. I want to see 50 gassers, 50 up downs, 500 up downs, and 67,000 burpees by, I don't know, next week. And at the end of the day, if our defense is going to be no all bark, no bite, what are we doing? It is the simplest side of the ball. As my football coach said, see ball, hit ball. That's basically all you have to do. The most complicated position on that side of the ball is linebacker. And you want to know all you got to do for linebacker? Maybe just be the QB of the defense, which is not that hard to be the QB of the defense because you got to memorize a few rushing plays so you can blitz through B gap. But besides that, you're really just calling the exact same play, each play, and seeing ball and then hitting ball. So simple, yet make it seem like it's so hard. So now, what I have next is a lot. So we are in a rough spot in FSU history because we went off of like 3 losing seasons and we came back a lot, but now we're down in the gutter. And I feel like the rest of our schedule, seeing that we have to go up against Miami and a few other not really good teams, although you can't say they're not really that good. We lost to Memphis and Georgia Tech and Boston College. So I don't really know what we're supposed to do against Florida or Miami. If I'm being so for real, we're probably gonna lose. But you just gotta believe. We're gonna go 10-3, including the ACC championship we're gonna win, and then we're winning out the rest of the season and hosting a national championship trophy. And we're gonna be the first team to host a home game for a national championship. So, in conclusion, defense, y'all are absolutely trash. Please get off of the team, and I rather recruit a whole high school defense than play with you guys if that stuff carries on into next week. Offense, great job out there. Keep it up. Don't stop the production. I want to keep seeing it each and every single game. Absolutely amazing performance from y'all. And DJU, you still a fraud, but you might not be a fraud because after equalizing to 0, I see some potential in every single one of us. So it was great job by FSU. Amazing win. And now, I do have a few things to talk about. So, my game this week went very well. If I'm correct, we blew them out around 28-0. If I am correct. Although I didn't get my touchdown this week, I'm going to get it next week. So it was not necessarily the greatest game. If I'm being honest, we had to play at 7:30 and I got home by around 11. So it was a very boring game, but my performance was very good. I laid 2 people out and I injured 1 kid. So it was very good stat line by me. And both of the times I pancaked a kid, the running back or whoever was running the ball went back for a touchdown. So I had an amazing game. And shout out UC because my teammates were asking me to shout out them on one of the lives. So please, FSU, please keep performing like this besides the defense. And I'm Trey. That is my take. And I shall see all of you next week when we catch a W 63-0, obviously.